We all know that stress is a normal and expected part of life. So let's talk about ways that we can manage it so that we can continue to be happy and healthy, both physically and emotionally. Let's take a look. Hi, I'm Heidi. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today I want to talk to you about a concept called allostasis. Have you ever heard of it? So, two scientists, Peter Sterling, a neurobiologist, and Joseph Ayer, an epidemiologist, they both studied chronic stress, generational chronic stress, and the effect on the human body and human brain. Part of what they found was that obviously chronic stress has a detrimental impact on the human body and the human brain. The other part that's fascinating is that they found that the more flexible somebody is, the more adaptable they are to interfacing with stress, the more they're able to come back to sort of what we would call homeostasis, even though they call it allostasis. Allostasis comes from the Greek root allo, which means different or other, and stasis meaning steady or standing. So, having an other or a different or adaptable approach to stress can bring us back to that steady state. And so, they talked about the importance of adaptability. And they also talked about this concept of allostatic load that we all, in the course of our day, our week, our month, our years, or our lifetime, experience allostatic load, which is kind of like the concept of natural wear and tear that we experience physically and also mentally and emotionally when we experience stress. And they talked about the importance of practicing that flexibility to make sure that our allostatic load is not overflowing and that we can bring ourselves back to allostasis by having certain practices and approaches in our life. And that if we don't, that allostatic load can contribute to what they call allostatic overload, which is when our physical being, our body is simply too taxed to be able to tolerate the stress, which then can contribute to problems like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, mental health conditions, and a whole host of other physical illnesses and ailments that, of course, we hear about every day. And so let's talk about how to keep your allostatic load down and to keep yourself healthy. Ready? Number one, and this won't come as a surprise to you, physical activity. Movement is super important because when we're experiencing stress, our cortisol levels go up. That's our stress hormone. And cortisol is very, very taxing on our body, on our immune system, on our mental and emotional health. It's really important to get those cortisol levels down and also to boost our dopamine, serotonin. Exercise is good for everyone. Number two, it's really important to develop practices that regulate your nervous system. So it could be exercise, or it could be breathing, or it could be having a cup of tea, or practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness kind of gets a bad rap because we hear about it a lot, maybe too much, but basically it's all about kind of becoming aware of our own internal and external experience and practicing self-compassion in the process. So that's number two. Number three is about building relationships, building a healthy relationship with yourself, where you're practicing self compassion. You're learning to not be critical, but more curious about your own experiences and practices. It also means building healthy relationships with other people. It could be just one person, it could be finding one person for you to feel safe with, to talk to, and to feel like you can be yourself with. And finally, number four, and this is the one that I'm most intrigued by. Number four is about how we interpret our experiences, how we view our stressors, and how we interface with them. And so there's a lot of wisdom in trying to look at the stressors in our life, perhaps from a different perspective, a different angle, and viewing them as an opportunity to figure out something about ourselves or something about what it is that we need to nurture ourselves or take care of ourselves or push ourselves. Um, Finding different ways of viewing the stressors that we're facing so that we can hopefully get something out of the situation, even if it means removing ourselves. So, which one of those four resonates the most for you? Is it physical activity? Is it practicing sensory regulation or mindfulness? Is it building relationships, either better relationship with yourself or with others? Or is it somehow finding ways to change the way you interpret or understand or view some of the situations that you're in? Let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and good luck working on your allostasis.